Oh. All right. Hello and welcome to Bigskybits. I'm your host Colby, and today we'll be going over Bitcoin in the world today, Wednesday, April 9th. Today we've seen a lot of volatility with regard to all markets. Right now, the main thing over the last week, 2 weeks, has really been Trump's tariffs on other countries and the goods coming in. This has created a lot of uncertainty in the market. Now, whichever side of the coin you're on, I do believe there's possible negatives and possible positive outcomes of where this could lead. A lot of this is just going to take some time to kind of figure out what's going to happen. Are U.S. businesses going to respond? How are other countries going to respond? I really thought a lot of these negotiations were going to lead to a net zero trade situation. So opening up even freer trade than we had. And I thought a lot of Trump's negotiation tactics were going to lead to that. And we even saw the European Union come to the table and offer that. And Trump refused it, claiming that we have given so much over time, we need to get some back. And while I think there's some truth to that, we have also exported our debt through monetary inflation and debasement of other currencies. It's really hard to quantify who owes what on a global scale. And this is part of the problem with us becoming a global economy, but still having independent nations doing their own thing and wreaking havoc amongst one another. Right now, it's really a game where nation states can use their leverage to harm other nation states. And financial war is really becoming a thing. And I mean, if you really look back to when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, a lot of it was based over U.S. sanctions and creating a situation where Japan wouldn't be able to compete or act on a global scale. So all I know is some of these policies could lead to even higher global tension. Now, what will the outcome of that be? Good or bad? It's hard to tell. And one thing I do know is Bitcoin is poised to be the largest benefactor of this situation. As the game theory between nation states plays out and everyone tries to manipulate their currency for their own benefit, we're going to see more and more countries want a more neutral payment system. And we're already seeing people move and countries move, states move towards Bitcoin. Now, has it been really adopted as a payment standard? No, it hasn't. On a large global scale, it has not. But many people are using it on a small scale. I use it every day. I see other people who use it on a daily basis. We're seeing how Bitcoin is becoming more integrated into the world today. So moving on from that, we'll slide over and go over into price action after letting you know that if you like the content, please help me out. Please like, subscribe, become a member. Well, I don't have any membership thing yet, but like the videos, comment on them. Let me know what's going on, things you want to talk about. We're over on Rumble and YouTube, so feel free to go over to whatever platform you like and listen to the content, aid in the discussion, go over to the website, and from there we'll go on to price. Looking at Bitcoin's price action, we never cleared that 80, and if you look out at the graph on a wider basis, we are seeing continual downtrend. We never broke any of the resistance. We're making lower lows, lower highs. It's not looking good. I mean, maybe this will end up being the bottom, the 74. I don't know. I was really thinking we were going to hit closer to 71, even 68 for a brief minute before spiking back up. But the overall trend seems to be that Bitcoin is taking a big chunk out of a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. When we look over at Ethereum, it has struggled to even get above the 0.02. And as I said in previous videos, this really is a big level for Ethereum when we look at it on a grander scale, we are now approaching all-time lows of the 2020s, 2019. We're lower than most of 2017 and stuff. We're approaching the old lows of back in 2017. And I mean, this just downward momentum indicates the overall competitive space for what Ethereum's attempting to do. Now, what Ethereum's attempting to do by being these smart contracts and getting into different avenues is they've sacrificed a lot of security and the way the system is built for more centralization. They have more power to change their system on a whim, but as we've seen, a lot of these changes and abrupt shifts have only led to less confidence in the system. And then when you have other players like Solana and other people getting into these same platforms, it's becoming diluted. The main point Ethereum had was a lot of these meme coins and other garbage that people were betting on, and Ethereum becoming a shitcoin casino. Now there's many other shitcoin casinos, so Ethereum's appeal has lessened quite a bit. The big one when we look at other shitcoins for me was XRP, and as we saw a lot of hype in this last cycle for XRP, I was really concentrating on when XRP broke this $2 level, and it's broken and stayed down quite a bit. It's one of the larger losers in the top 10. When we look at XRP, I really expect it to crash back down to, I don't know, 60 cents range. Sounds about right. 60, 70 cents. Yeah, probably 60. 50, 60. Somewhere in that range, I think we'll hit, and probably sooner than later. XRP's premise is severely flawed. Look at the circulating supply versus total supply, the amount locked up by the Ripple Foundation. The whole thing just should make you question its validity as a technology, or for what it's attempting to do. So moving on from price, we'll go back into some of the tariff discussions. And as we see, where was that over here? Yeah, the U.S. Department has scrapped its Bitcoin enforcement, and it's showing a lot more promise towards Bitcoin. But these tariffs are kind of weighing down on any hope the ecosystem has, with China retaliating after we put new tariffs on them with an 84% tariff. They did mention they're willing to negotiate, but right now things are at a pretty heightened state, and I don't know if we're going to come to any short-term situation that people can agree on. Now, how this will affect Bitcoin is Bitcoin's going to see, I mean, in regards to the US, Bitcoin mining operations are going to see definitely an increase in cost. Most of the Bitcoin miners are created over in China. Now, I can see this as a good point as well, because we've really needed a shift in where the manufacturing of Bitcoin miners, the type of Bitcoin miners, the capacity of them. Everyone thinks we need these huge mining farms, and as I've advocated for a long time, smaller mining associated with each individual's house and energy production will create a more decentralized, stable environment, and actually help grow the Bitcoin network in a more organic way. So these tariffs are going to hurt the Bitcoin ecosystem within the US. Now, can it create a more decentralized global Bitcoin ecosystem? Most likely. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this. But going on to the US scrapping the Bitcoin enforcement, this really looks like we're adopting more of what Bitcoin was meant to be. And this will allow things like some of the mixing tools that were suspended under the Biden administration to possibly come back. And these are good. I watched a video on CoffeeZilla kind of complaining about this. He believes that the whirlpool services or the mixing services are only used for nefarious reasons. Well, in many countries, let's say China, let's say Korea, there's many situations in where people's money isn't free. Mixing that money to get it out of the country or get goods into the country really can help people circumvent the authoritarian sanctions a government implements on them. Now, some may see this as good, some may see this as bad, but it is a useful tool to escape authoritarianism. Now, CoffeeZilla took a different take, that these tools only inhibit criminals, and the government is silly for ignoring that these tools facilitate criminals. And my only response to CoffeeZilla would be, are you in favor of them banning guns, cars? These tools are used for weapons. I mean, look at dynamite in the Nobel Prize. His discovery led to destruction and much creation. Any tool can be used for good or bad. And the fact that CoffeeZilla takes the authoritarian standpoint of more government overreach really should make people question what are his fundamental values and what does he believe. I think he's done some great journalism in exposing some scams, but lately it's taken a more political view, and I fear it's tainted some of how he rationalizes what humans' place in a society is. So take it all with a grain of salt. Go watch the video. I found it interesting. But I would like to point out that Bitcoin adoption isn't going to give a damn about what governments or what other countries are doing. Bitcoin adoption is moving forward. And we see this in the payment space, a space where Bitcoin needs the most improvement, a space where second layer and third layer solutions will facilitate Bitcoin being used on a daily basis. And we see this with Kracken teaming up with Mastercard to bring BTC payments. Now, I understand a lot of this will be converted immediately. There will be other things, but in regard, Mastercard will most likely hold some sort of reserve to facilitate these type of transactions. And just bringing this adoption to people is good. On that same note, we see that Jack Dorsey over with Square, he's always been one of the most wonderful proponents of Bitcoin. I was not a big Jack Dorsey fan back in the day. And I don't know if he had a nice ayahuasca trip or something, but he became quite enlightened to government censorship, government overreach, and how Bitcoin and this community and decentralization can fix a lot of these situations. And he has said something about Square working to implement Bitcoin payments. So imagine if a lot of the little payment processors, you can now just pay with Bitcoin. I mean, this is going to be game changing. The payment space is one of the largest areas where Bitcoin needs to change the narrative, change our policies, and change people's perception of what Bitcoin is. Through second and third layer solutions, Bitcoin is infinitely scalable. Now, do we need everything on main chain? That's another debate. I don't believe we do. We can have that debate if my listeners are interested. So please leave a comment. So, with all of these in mind, please don't let the market scare you. We're probably going to go down. Pay attention. Have some cash on the sidelines. I mean, right now with markets so volatile, I think having working cash to take advantage of things that have overreacted to the situations is good, because you can then make purchases and benefit from this. So pay attention to what's going on. I hope everyone has a great week and enjoy yourselves.